play some macro games for these 3 games?
I usually do.
Of course, I have no doubt that you could 4-gate and kill me 3 times in a row. It would make me really sad if you did, though. All right, idrA. So let's just talk about mid-game real quick. For a couple months now, and it's starting to, in my opinion, to move out of fashion on North American servers. Zerg players have just been playing Roach, like Roach, eventually into Corruptor. And what I've noticed here, especially recently, is that we're starting to see a lot of Stalker Immortal stuff in the mid game that really gives that Roach, that pure Roach army, a really tough time. So, good Hydra timings are becoming really critical. What is just your take on the Zerg mid game right now in a quote standard macro game?
Zerg just has to be reactive because Protoss has hard counters, essentially. If you have a Hydraling army and they have Colossus or Templar, you're going to lose. And if you have Roaches against a Stalker Sentry Immortal army, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So basically, you as a mid-game Zerg, you have to be constantly scouting and then reacting. You see them making a bunch of Stalkers, a bunch of Warp Gate units, then you either get Roaches and Burrow or you get Hydra. You see them going Immortals, you get Hydras. You see them going Colossus, you get Spire. So basically everything comes down to establishing your economy, scouting what they're doing, and reacting to it. And then, like I said, trying to engage any time it's going to be cost efficient just to take out the Colossus, because that's your secondary goal, is keeping the Colossus count low, because that's what's going to become a problem for you later on.
Cool, awesome stuff. I just posted my Battle.net info in Skype, by the way, in case you want to say hi so we can party up. Okay, so on the topic of scouting, I don't want to sound like a crybaby here, but it's hard to scout in the mid game with Zerg. We get Overlord speed soon after layer finishes. I think it's a really critical upgrade.
Yeah, if you know that they have expanded, I would recommend getting Overlord speed immediately as soon as your layer finishes. Yeah, it's just like, it's absolutely crucial. You have to know what they're doing or you're going to die half the time.
Is Overlord speed going to take precedent over Burrow and Roach speed? Because those are pretty critical as well, especially if Protoss decides, hey, I'm going to 6-gate.
Yeah, if you see like the 9 sentries, the 1 Zealot 9 sentry plus an expansion opening, in that case I would prioritize Burrow and Roach speed. You still want to get Overlord speed as quickly as you can, but obviously if they have a bunch of sentries early on, that's really good indicator that they are going to be doing the heavy Warp Gate rush. So in that case, then yeah, you need to invest more to prepare to defend that. But in any other situation where it looks at all like a standard expansion, you have to get the Overlord speed immediately, because they could throw down 2 robotics and you have to get the Spire right away or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Because you have to know what's going on.
Yeah, and then the thing that kills me, like so often, is I'll see Robo and I'll freak out and I'll rush up to Corruptor. And he'll never make a Colossus, and it's just like, oh, fuck my life, Or I'll see the Robo, and I'll see 1 Immortal, and I'm like, oh god, I gotta get Hydras, and then he only makes that 1 Immortal. How do you make that read? Is there any other thing I can look for other than just seeing his army at all times?
Yeah, there isn't really a read to it. If they are willing to commit to building a fake robotics and faking the upgrade and constantly producing out of the robotics base, then yeah, you just have to constantly be scouting them, not only their base and their tech, but their army as well. And if they prevent you from doing that, you just kind of have to hedge your bets, like make some Hydras but not too many, some Corruptors but not too many, which is really a bad way to play. So again, it all comes down to scouting. You have to try. It's worth sacrificing Overlords to see their army comp.
Right. Okay. That's definitely something I could work on as a player, just scouting better, sacrificing Overlords more aggressively. One last question, and we'll jump into this first game. Mutas in ZvP, is it a gimmick? Is it something that we can use ever? What's your take?
I wouldn't say it's a gimmick, because if you can do it, it is very powerful, and it is just a good, solid strategy. The problem is, Mutas are not designed to be a fighting unit, not in low numbers, and they have a very high cost. The bonus to them is their mobility, the ability to control the map and the harassment. But the trade-off there is that they're not going to help you defend yourself. And it takes a long time to get up enough Mutas because of the gas cost. And given the way Warp Gates work and Chrono Charge and stuff, Protoss is very timing focused. It's a race designed to do timing attacks. And timing attacks are the weaknesses of Mutas. So unless you can get some kind of big advantage early and just buy yourself enough time to get the mutaflock up to where it is actually a real threat, it's always going to be very, very risky to go mutas. It's always going to be possible to die to a timing rush.
Yeah, it makes me sad because back before 6-gate got more popular, and just like those good mid-game gateway timings, I was going muta in every game, and Jeff actually coached me on that for a little while before we kind of came to the conclusion that it's just too dangerous.
If you can get them going, they're excellent. It's the second most popular style on Korea is still Roach into Muta, just because Roaches, if you catch an army off guard or something. So they're a very good thing if you can find a safe way to get to them.
Cool. All right. Well, I don't know if Jeff's at the computer or not. He did.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay. I just sent you a party invite, and you totally ignored me, man. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up a game. idrA, I don't know how you want to get into this.
I added... Oh, you don't have my...
yeah, just say hi.
One second, I'll message you it.
I can add him.
Or that works too. Yeah, you can just join on Jeff. That makes sense.
Or can actually join through me.
There you go. So now we can keep your identity secret from the throngs of viewers that are no doubt going to be stalking my match history. J-Mag's a good buddy of mine. I told him he could observe because he likes to study and controls play. And now here they come. Okay. So...
I'll pause the call.
well, I mean, okay, that's fine.
I can find out how. How do you pause it? Oh.
You could probably just mute us, Jeff, if you haven't already.
Yeah, you can just turn the auto off.
Yeah, turn your volume down.
Oh, there we go.
All right, fantastic.
Okay, so I can't hear anything.
All right, well, Greg or idrA, I'm gonna fire this thing up if you're ready, because I sure am.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. So here goes. I'm a little nervous, which is weird because I've done this 100 times. Okay, 1514 says idrA. So that's what I'm gonna open with. My ultimate goal is to get into some sort of roach-centric mid-game and then to be adaptive based on what I see.
Yep, that is the general game plan for ZvP right now. With 1514, there's not too much to keep in mind. You just have to take drones off gas at 100. You focus on getting the second queen really quickly. You're going to want to put up your hatchery around 20-21 supply, depending on if you're under any pressure. So just very standard.
All right. I forgot about Jeff's spam.
Oh, that's him?
I might actually hang up on him.
Yeah, we were going to want to mute that. His keyboard is really loud.
All right, so he's off the call.
Okay.
And resume. Okay, so here we go. Now, I had two questions I wanted to ask. The first is timings on the third. There's so many ways that I like to play it. My favorite, I play against Jeff a lot. My favorite thing to do in this position, well, maybe not on this map, but I love to take a really fast third, like maybe as early as 30 supply.
If you know they've expanded, that is okay. If they're still on one base, obviously it's incredibly risky.
Yeah.
Generally, for a standard game, I would recommend taking your expansion basically when your lair tech is kicking in. Once you have roach speed up or once your hydras are out. Just around the time that kicks in, that's when your expansion should be on the way, because that's when you'll have your investment paying off. That's when you'll be able to defend any kind of attack he's doing.
All right. So yeah, the safe timing is definitely after roach speed or burrow, because certainly if I'm getting 6-gated, I'm not going to defend an expansion.
Yeah. That's kind of like an underlying principle. Basically, you have invested resources up to this point in getting those upgrades, getting lair tech, and so your army is going to be weaker than his as long as that's the case until it pays off. And by expanding, that's even more investment that's not going into your army. So you're going to be really, really weak there if you choose to expand and tech without focusing on army. So if he chooses to attack, you will die at that point.
Alright.
But after the investment in tech kicks in, then your army will be much stronger, and it allows you to defend it then.
Okay. Another question I wanted to ask you before the things really pick up is queens beyond the first two. It's sort of become popular, especially in lieu of some Day 9 stuff, to just make a shitload of queens. Do you have a take on that?
I've actually been playing with it a little ZvP. It's not very good at all in the other matchups, but ZvP I think it has potential. Actually, just making a lot of them and using them to help with defense. Even if you don't do that, you do want to get a third queen really quick, just for extra anti-air and for the creep spread. You don't really want to sacrifice too much for it, but I'd say around mid-30s supplies, you get the third queen, and obviously the first two immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
We require more Vespine gas.
All right. So I'm going to kind of trail off on the questions here as I try to focus more and more on the game.
Okay.
Please,
You want me to keep pointing things out to you and stuff?
Yeah, please interject freely. Pretend like I am the biggest noob in the world, because in comparison to the mighty Greg Fields, I am.
Well, I should have noticed this earlier actually, but we were talking. You didn't drone scout, I believe?
No, I did not.
Okay, you always want to drone scout because you have to see if they have one gas or two gas.
Yes.
So, for future games, that's something to keep in mind. Also, if you had drone scouted, you would have seen the fast cybercore, and you would have only had to make 4 links instead of 6.
Ah,
So,
sad.
always want to drone scout around 14 or 15 supply after building your spawning pool.
Okay. I normally do. I kind of cheated this game just because I know exactly what Jeff's going to do in the first 3 minutes.
Okay.
Which is not cool, but hey, take what you can get, right?
You
So,
want-
back on gas?
Yeah. It would ideally be a little bit earlier than this. You want to get your lair not too long after your second queen finishes.
Okay.
Assuming you don't want to go roach immediately.
The timing I've kind of been living by is start guys back on gas after my second queen finishes. That's incorrect timing then?
Well, there is a balance early game. Some people would prefer to go more ling heavy with extra queens and delay the lair tech. I personally prefer to get a quicker lair. In that case, then I put the drones back on gas when the second queen is about half done. But this style works as well. It's going for the roach warren before lair and stuff like that. So it's perfect personal preference. At this point, you kind of want to be poking around with that overlord. Just moving it around the edge of his base, not risking it, but seeing if you can see anything.
Oh, I see. That's cute.
Yeah, this is around the time that Protoss really commits to something. You'll see if they have 4 gates, or if a Stargate's up, or a DT archive is started. So around 35, 36 supplies when you want to start trying to Overlord Scout.
Now, what about adding my second and third gas or further?
Again, that's really dependent on how you're playing. Given that you are going a pretty quick layer, you want to get your second and third gas now, especially since you have a lot of drones. If you're going heavier road. Good.
Okay. So for more roach aggression and lower economy, well, I've kind of droned up a little too much, haven't I?
Well, given that he's expanding, you are safe to this point, but now you need to start making roaches. You didn't actually know that he was going to expand, so it was kind of risky. You know, if you were playing without knowledge of your opponent.
I hope he turns around, because if he doesn't, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. You need to put drones on gas.
Yes, I do.
That's another thing. Here, you're kind of low on gas, so you can't actually afford to get both roach speed and overlord speed. But you just started the gas a little bit earlier, then you can afford to get both.
Yes, indeed. Okay, cool. Alright, so he's not actually coming with any pressure, so I can start breaking down these rocks, getting ready to take my third?
You can, but you do need to keep scouting, because Protoss can really choose to attack at any point right now. Just kind of, the existence of force field makes it very safe for Protoss to move out at any time, because they can always just block off your roaches and run away, because they have the faster army. So you have to constantly be aware of the potential to attack.
What
Never really
about
feel safe.
an overseer around this time? Is that something that I should consider?
If you're going to invest 100 gas in scouting, you should get overlord speed.
Okay.
Because no one is going to expand and go DT like this so you don't really need to consider detection. And Overlord Speed is more of a long-term scouting option. It's a better investment. It's around the time you should be taking your third.